Hello 1000 PS fans, I welcome you from Portugal, where the weather is very bad, but the motorcycles are very nice. Husqvarna is presenting their new Supermoto 701 and also the Enduro bike next to me. As I said, the weather is very bad, it's raining, strong winds, everything's flooded. I hope tomorrow it will be dry, at least on the streets. We will see what we can ride with the Enduro. I love this bike, I love the looks of the bike. It almost looks like a real racing bike, a little bit heavier of course, but the new colors, the white, the deep blue and the neon yellow is just beautiful. It looks really fast and I bet it is. Also the white frame, WP suspension of course, hand guards and everything. I'm so excited because the last Supermoto presentation was, I think, 10 years ago. And now Husqvarna has a new bike here and I'm so excited about tomorrow and I will pray and I will eat up and everything, so tomorrow will be a nice weather. So see you in about 12 hours. There's so much to say, not only because there are two models to introduce today, but because they are new and there's so much positive aspects that I hope I won't forget anything. First off, some of you or some of our users said that basically it's just a KTM in different colors and with slight design changes, which is partly true. Husqvarna is now part of KTM and they will have a lot of in common in the future. So they won't be two different companies. You know, they belong together and they will develop together and build together and design together. So yeah, it's true, of course, but still it's two different brands, two different heritages, two different approaches, I think. This is, to me, more elegant than a KTM. It's just as sporty, but it's more elegant. It has a really, really high quality feel to it. And you always have to consider that every brand has a different image around the world. You know, you have to see it globally. Husqvarna was founded in 1903. In 1903, it's just as old as Harley Davidson. So, for example, in America, Husqvarna is a real big name. And that's why it makes sense to have these two brands and also have models that might look similar. But still, for me, this is totally different than a KTM 690 Supermoto. It's more beautiful to me. I like the colors, I like the name. I basically like almost everything on this bike. So let's start off with the technical description. We have a single overhead camshaft, single cylinder engine, 690 cc of course, 67 horsepower and 67 newton meter of torque. The engine weighs 43 kilograms. The frame weighs 8.4 kilograms and comes just as the suspension from WP. This frame is white, which I like a lot. I told you this bike is really elegant, and also the frame in white is something different, which I like a lot. Then we have a subframe, which weighs 5.2 kilograms and has the fuel tank inside. 13 liters of fuel. So you have, you fill it up in the back. You have the filler cap here in the back. We have a CNC aluminum triple clamp, which has a different steering angle on the Supermoto and on the Enduro. On the Supermoto we have 45 degrees and on the Enduro we have 44 degrees. They also have a different offset. The aluminum swing arm, which also looks very nice, really high quality, weighs only 3.9 kilograms. The engine weighs 43 kilograms and has service intervals of 10,000 kilometers, which is really a lot for a Supermoto, especially for a performance bike. Years ago, if you had a performance bike like this, which is quite close to a racing bike, let's say, except for the weight, you had always had to take care of it. You always had to look after it so it won't just explode or just crash and burn. Just now it's 10,000 kilometers and you will have no problems at all, and you will have a long, nice, exciting time with this bike. We have ride-by-wire, of course. We are living in the future. We have 3+1 mappings. The 3 mappings are standard, soft and advanced. I only used the standard mapping because the throttle response is just perfect. There's so much feeling for the back tire, for the grip, also for the front. You have so much torque for about, I think, 4,000 RPMs, almost, maximum torque. There's a lot of pressure. But it always feels perfectly balanced. It's not just a punch. And you're not surprised. It's just really smooth and powerful at once. This is what makes this bike. It's just nicely balanced. Really. Okay, and then I talked about a 4th mapping, which is the bad fuel mapping. Then we have ABS in the front and in the back, but you can switch it off. It's very nice. You have a light here, which will show you when ABS is off, and it will blink every 5 seconds if ABS is only off in the back. But you need a dongle for it, which is a small device. You connect it with a cable under the seat. Just take it off, connect it. Problem is, it costs some money. You have to buy this small device. But I think it's very important, especially for the off-road bike, for the Enduro. I did it. I switched it off in the back because on the gravel I just needed it. And what surprised me was that in the front, it didn't bother me. The ABS was okay. We weren't really going off-road, but we were riding around some hills and some gravel and stuff. And it was okay. You can do so much with the throttle, so much with closing the throttle and with the back brake, that it's no problem at all. That the ABS is sometimes a little, stuttering because it's very, very fine. I had a really good feeling with it. If you're really going off-road, you would switch off the ABS totally, of course. What else do we have? Nice feature, you can remove the number plate here without removing the indicators and the backlight. Very easy, just a few screws. You can take it off for 1 o'clock wheelies or whatever. Then, of course, between the Supermoto and the Enduro, we have a lot of differences. Most of the differences are considering the suspension and the tires and the wheels. Yeah, we have Continental wheels on both of the bikes, but here we have the Conti Attack SM Supermoto tire, 17-inch rims, and on the Enduro we have the Conti TKC 80 in 18-inch in the back and the front 21-inch. And that's why they feel totally different on tarmac. I thought the Enduro would be more dynamic, more easy to handle, but because of those tires that are, especially in the front, how can I describe it, very, very flat shoulder, you know, so you go in the corner and suddenly you just stop, you can't go any further, you feel you can't go any further, and you have to press the bike. So that's why the Supermoto would be my choice, where I come from, because I don't have any mountains in Austria. I would definitely choose the Supermoto. But if I was from the west, you know, from the Austrian Alps, and, I would probably choose the Enduro for going over some hills, mountains, up the mountains, rocks, gravel, and whatever. Then I would use the Enduro. But on the streets, there's a big difference between those bikes because of the tires, because of the rims. Then we also have a difference in brakes. On the Supermoto, we have a 320 millimeter brake with 4-piston caliper. And on the Enduro, we only have a 300 millimeter brake disc with 2 pistons. So you can really feel a difference. Not only because considering the strength, but also the feel to it. You know, this is more precise. You always know what's happening where you are. And with the Enduro, it's just it's not so fine. The weight of both bikes is 145 kilograms each without fuel, so they should weigh about 160, I guess. We can check that back in Austria next year when we will test, I hope, the Supermoto for about 2 or 3 months. So then we do a lot of tests and a lot of videos, of course. Then we can check if it's really just 160 or under 160 kilograms. What surprised me was the seat height. On the Supermoto, it's 890 millimeters, which is already quite high. I'm 180, which is 5'11 or 5'10, I don't know. 180 centimeters, and I don't have problems, but as you can see, you know, this is like, it would be a little bit more down, but yeah. And on the Enduro, it's 910 millimeters, which is really something for bigger people almost. If you're 170, you might have some problems. 170, I would say 175 is where it's getting difficult for some people. But on the other hand, these are bikes for taller people. So as you can see, my knees, the angle of my knees is okay. My knee is below the seat, the shoulder of the seat. So if you would sit like that, it would be no problem at all. This would be, yeah, would be okay. So I guess if you're up to 195 maybe, that could be a bike for you. And if you are afraid that this is too much of a performance bike and has no comfort at all, I must say this is really something for everyday use, for commuting, for whatever you want to do. Because, as I said, everything is balanced. It's not a brutal motorcycle, not at all. And still, it's very sporty and very much fun. The seat is also, it might seem a little hard, but it was okay. Nice to ride around town. And when I think back a few years ago, it was not much of a joy to go through the city, you know, in slow motion with a KTM 1-cylinder. That was not the best thing you could do. But nowadays, no problem at all. That's what I think is the biggest asset of these bikes, that they are connect performance with everyday use, and comfort with sportiveness. I think that's a really hard thing to do, to connect these two worlds and still be very exciting, very emotional. That's something only the best can do, I think. Of course, we have a lot of accessories. Most important, maybe the Akrapovic exhaust system. Although I must say, the sound of the regular exhaust is very nice. It's this distinct KTM sound, yeah, because it's a KTM engine. It's I don't know the word in English. I'm really sorry. You have to listen to it. Maybe you will know, but a little bit hollow. That's how some Ferraris also sound. This hollow sound of a strong engine. Really nice. And as we can see, it's 88 dB at 3,500 revs. So Akrapovic, I don't know. I couldn't hear it yet, so maybe next year. And you also have a lot of other useful accessories, for example, 20-liter tank and a windscreen. If you are a little, more adventurous, you can mount a big windscreen and whatever. One of the must-haves are the decals. You see a lot of white walls here, and you can have a really nice set of decals for this. And if you have seen what it looks like with the decals, with the stickers on, you gotta have them. That's really mean from Husqvarna. They really left this white for a reason, I guess. One nice part, as I'm just looking at it, are the handguards. And I think it's aluminum with the 701 logo here on the side. Love this one. I also love the grips and the levers that you can adjust from Brembo. This is Magura, I'm sorry. The clutch is Magura, but on the right it's Brembo. And one part I don't like, I'm really sorry, but the mirrors, they are do no justice to this beautiful bike. This is way too beautiful for this kind of mirrors. On the Enduro, it's okay. It's form follows function. I have no problem. You have a good backside, but on the Supermoto, you gotta have something sexier. So I would definitely change this. But this is maybe the only part I really don't like, and the rest is. It's a really, really good bike. I thought I would prefer the Enduro over the Supermoto. Now it's the other way around, because I thought the Enduro can do everything the Supermoto can do, plus you can go off-road a little bit, gravel and to the woods and whatever, to the lake, wherever we want to go. But this is so much more fun on the streets, on the tarmac. It's so much more action. And it looks sexier and more sportier and everything to me. So I would take this one now. But of course, it depends on where you live and what you want to use it for. So also the Enduro was so much fun off-road, where we were going really fast on the gravel, and it also has this special character. It's also the engine is the main and the best part for me. It just works so good that I think no matter where you put it, in which frame, in which motorcycle, it would just be a great motorcycle. That's what they did with this. And so, to come back to where I have begun, I have no problem that there's KTM inside, because if I had to compare it to different business, to watches, there are thousands of watches, quite expensive watches, that share or they have the same movement. They all have ETA or whatever unitas, and no one says they all have the same movement. Why should I take this brand or that brand? They all have the same movement, but they are all different brands. They have different images, and they appeal to different kinds of people. So, of course, in the future, KTM and Husqvarna will share a lot of parts. They will develop together, they will design together, and we will ride bikes that are part KTM and part Husqvarna. But still, they are two different brands, for me, with different character. And the persons who ride Husqvarnas and KTMs will be different persons. So I'm looking forward to the future, especially to the future of Husqvarna street bikes, because they told us they will have a lot more street bikes and also bigger ones. So I'm really excited about this, about the future of Husqvarna. Don't think about KTM too much. If you want a KTM, ride a KTM. And if you want Husqvarna and if you think this is beautiful and it looks exciting, which it definitely is, then you will ride a Husqvarna. So thanks for watching. Give me a thumbs up. Excuse my shitty English. Subscribe our channels and watch our other videos. See you next time. Bye.